Hey folks, welcome back to the bench. Well, I'm hoping the sound is a little better today. Wireless lapel mic I have is a cheap one, and I noticed there was quite a bit of humming, hissing in it, so I'm trying a different approach. I got a different mic that's just sitting on the bench right over here. This guy. Hopefully it'll give some better sound, but in any case, you can see what I've got on the bench here. After last video I made a decision that my Cup Racer is going to get the electronics for my buggy. Now I've taken the electronics out. Just get it in the way. Almost all the electronics. I'm not going to put the servo in. I've got a nice low profile MKS X6. I don't really, well, maybe I will put it in there. Might as well use it. Get my money out of it. But yeah, that's my plan. And so I've got this MKS servo, brushless, an old Tekin Redline 13.5. I think this is the first revision, and the brand new Hobbywing XR10 just stock. And the only other thing I guess I will need, originally I had the old Spectrum first, the DSM-1 receiver in here that I use for my module and my Airtronics radio, but it's I don't like the old Spectrum stuff, so I'm going to use the little Fly Sky receiver as well. That'll go with my hacked cheapo, but works well for me anyway. It's a GT3B. It's got the what is it? I can't remember the name of the firmware that's on it, but it's been a solid radio, so I like it. So yeah, I'm going to get this set up here. Now, I should say, I've already checked one thing, and there seems to be a problem. Hopefully this pin, it's not a broken pin, but something has backed off here. See, the spur gear slips real easy. Now there's a little disc back there with pins in it, and I'm hoping those pins didn't shear off. Now I'll have to try to see if I can get a peek in there as to what's going on. I'm just going to grab a little flashlight. I thought I had one here somewhere. I got a little headlamp that'll do the trick. See if I can light it up in there and see if I can see those pins or not. But like I say, I have a bad feeling. Yeah, those pins are there. This thing doesn't have a slipper clutch in it, so something's amiss. So before I can do anything, we're gonna have to tear this open, unfortunately, and see what's going on. So you can watch along while I do this. I'll maybe just do a time lapse or fast forward video for you while I'm doing this. So let's see what we got in there. And just like that, apart she comes. Now I think I see the issue. I'm just going to look in the manual here. I think a screw just came backed off. Let's show you here what I'm talking about. If I can get the video. I don't know if it's going to be hard to see. But there's a screw right here. It looks like it backed off. So I'm hoping that's all it is. Let's see if we can get her tightened up and stop it from slipping. Also, there is a tool that the manual shows. And I have it here somewhere, because I saw it just recently. Yeah, it's right in front of me. This guy here. What we need to do is, yeah, that's just, I think that's all that's happened. So I think I'll pull it out. Yeah, that's definitely what's happened. Pull it out and Loctite it as all the suspension falls apart. But it also looks like this is threaded on, and I think that's actually come loose. I think I'm going to have to tear into a little further than I had anticipated, but that's okay. Well, figured out the problem. The problem occurred, if I can diagnose this properly, because this little piece probably backed off, and the problem is this plastic part with the pins. It's not that the pins are broken off. It'll be hard to see, I don't know if, but inside here there's supposed to be two flat spots, and they key up on the flat spots on here, and those flat spots are stripped. So I'm not sure if there's anything I can do about that to fix it. I'm probably just going to have to get new parts unless I can build it up in some way. But the problem is with this plastic, once it's stripped, there's not much you can do about it. So I think what I'm going to have to do is go online and see if I can find new parts, or maybe I can even model this up on my 3D printer. Probably not, because these pins and that would be too hard to print with any strength. So I'm gonna have to go online and see what I can find for parts and maybe order the pieces up. So much for that plan. Maybe I will change my mind and put this gear into another car of some sort. But in any case, until next time, sorry about this, but take care and talk to you later. Well, I'm back earlier than anticipated. It's not the end of the video. I did a bit of cleanup on that part. Took some of the where the plastic had kind of smushed out, because I don't think that was allowing it to seat. Cleaned it up with the knife and tried hooking her back in here, and I was able to get her tight. So it looks like I'm gonna be okay. She's on there now. She's a little floppy just because the bearing support's missing, but let's get her back together now. Okay, well, I got it all back together again for a second time because I missed a shim piece under here. But next step is to mount this motor. Now, I'm actually a little bit concerned after seeing how that piece is in there that maybe this thing won't hold up to a 13.5, but we'll find out. I'll have to order up that piece just in case it strips out on me. The way these motor mounts work is, or the motor mounts, is you mount it on this plate to the motor, and then it slips in there and you just rotate it. It's like a cam, I guess you could say, and it allows you to change the gear mesh just by rotating it. I gotta make sure I put that the right way around. There's little slots to allow you to get into the pinion to set it, but I'm pretty sure the manual tells you there's a certain measurement. Yeah. Right there says there should be about 7 millimeters from the edge to the edge of the pinion. So that'll help you set the depth at least. I'm going to look on here and see which way is up. Looks like the flat spot kind of goes over here. Yeah, so you rotate it in. I know you can't really see, sorry about that. Once the motor's on, you line up that flat spot and then you turn it that way. So this way I can see where the holes are. Yeah, I know I'm stumbling, that's just the way it is. So there's a line on there. So that should work out perfect right there. 'Cause there's one of the threaded holes in this motor is damaged, so I can't use it. Just gotta find a couple countersunk screws, 3mm, and get her slapped on here. Now it said 7mm, big enough ruler, but this is the only one I have handy that goes right millimeters right to the edge. Right now the pinion is sitting at 6, so I just need to space that out just a bit more. Alright, took me a few tries, but got it where the tabs are going to be in a decent spot. So now what I'm going to do is, there's this cap that goes on, and that's what clamps down on that ring. So I'm going to put it on loosely, and then it only goes one way. There's an O-ring on it. I'm going to get it on there loose. I think it must go the other way. Yeah. And then rotate the motor to get a decent mesh. It's actually kind of a nice setup. I do mesh by feel. Usually just a little bit of a tick between the gears is all I'm looking for. You can use a piece of paper, that sort of thing, but I've been successful doing it this way. You always got to look all the way around the gear, because usually the gears aren't perfectly round, so you're going to have one tight spot and you got to adjust for that tight spot. Good. Now I'm going to throw the receiver on. The receiver it sits in here. That's where the antenna, well, you can put it wherever you want, I guess. Because the antenna mount is right there. There's almost enough room in this spot for both the receiver and the ESC. But I'm going to put the ESC on this side to kind of offset the weight of the motor. And I will probably put the receiver, I don't know if you can see, that way around, so the antenna is right at the antenna hole. So come up there, and then all the wire, or the speed controller and the receiver or servo wire, can come through this little guy here, and that snaps down and it holds everything in place, so I can kind of jam everything in and then straight in. So I'm going to get all this mounted up and figure out the battery as well, because I don't have, there's some weird battery mounts on this thing. The battery kind of sits up under here. I may just use tape like I did last time, because I'll be using a LiPo. But I'm going to get all mounted up, no point in you watching, and then show you the final result, and maybe tomorrow I can get a little bit of running on it out on the street or a road in front of our place. So let's see where we get. Well, it's the next morning and got a little more work done on the Cup Racer. You can see I've got the motor and everything wired in. I left the motor wires long because I like to move my electronics around. Got an XT60 connector hooked up to there. Almost forgot about the sensor wire. Got my MKS HBL 575 loaded. It's a lot more servo than this car needs, but might as well use it. And what else? So I've charged up a older Dynamite 3200 LiPo pack that I have here. And I was looking around, or looked through the manual and everything, and the way to mount this is to just use strapping tape under here, which is what I kind of figured, because there are battery holders for stick packs and that, but in this situation you just use good old-fashioned battery strapping tape, which I'm fine with. So I'm going to get this all set up, and then I'll take you guys outside and we'll try running this up and down the road out in front of our acreage here and see how she performs. Alright, sorry about the wind noise, but and this road surface isn't the best, but let's see how this little guy runs. I gotta be careful it doesn't get run over by a passing car. It's gonna be a short run. As I figured, too much power. And the tires aren't that great either. Back tires have some glue on them too from some strapping. Pretty good. I wouldn't even want to put a fuel cell in it, that's for sure. On to the next one. I think I'll try to do the stadium truck next, because I haven't really even run that one before, so stay tuned for the next videos. Until next time, take care and talk to you later.